नमस्कार. प्रुडंटाच्या या खासा कार्यावळीन तुमकां येवकार. सेरेंडिपिटी आर्ट्स फेस्टिवलाच्या निमतान आयज आमी येवन पावल्या कला अकादमी हांगासर. कला अकादमी म्हळ्यार कलाकारां खातीर तांची कला सादर करपा खातीर एक म्हत्वाचो असो वेन्यू. हांगा सेरेंडिपिटी एक्सचेंज ऑफ आर्ट्स हाचें आतां काही वेळानूच उक्तावण जावपाचें आसा. सेरेंडिपिटीचे जे फावंडर पॅट्रन आसा मिस्टर सुनील कांत मुंजाल तांच्या हस्तुकी ह्या सेरेंडिपिटी एक्सचेंज ऑफ आर्ट्स हाचे उक्तावण जातलें. सेरेंडिपिटी एक्सचेंज ऑफ आर्ट्स हाचो शॉर्ट फॉर्म सांगपाचो म्हळ्यार सी म्हळ्यार समुद्र. आनी खरोच कलाकारां खातीर हे जे सेरेंडिपिटी एक्सचेंज ऑफ आर्ट्स आसा तो एक समुद्र थारपाचो आसा. हांगा देशांतल्यान तशेंच आंतरराष्ट्रीय पातळी वयल्यान जायते आर्टिस्ट हांगा एकठांय जाल्ले आसात आपली कला एकमेकां कडेन एक्सचेंज करपा खातीर. सो आमी आतां भितर यात. ह्या सीचे आतां काही वेळानूच उक्तावण जातलें. सो पळोवयात.
Of Hero in a book called The Making of Hero, which won the Business Book of the Year award at the Tata Literature Live in 2020. Please put your hands together and welcome on stage Sunil Kant Munjal.
Thank you and welcome everyone. So the reason we put you in a small room was literally to make you feel close and warm. And this, as you heard, is the 9th edition of the Serendipity Arts Festival. And it already has a life of its own, thanks to many of you and many others who are not in this room right now. Each year, it appears to get bigger and better. But also it tends to embrace more of our emotions, our feelings, our ideas of what should be. For those of you who've had a chance to go around already, you would have seen that there is a fair degree of messaging in all of the programs, projects, exhibits, music performances. And these are about what we believe the world needs right now and is somewhat missing. Things like kindness, things like friendships, things like relationships, things like families, the impact of separations. Because we are seeing a world that is highly strained and getting fractured. The political dialogue across the globe has become strident, has become very adversarial and is getting very personal. So we are attempting to see if we can get a platform where more people can come together. People who have the ability to influence opinion of others around them, which is the folks in this room. So thank you very much to each and every one of you for being here with us, for being a part of this journey, for being a part of this mission. The very purpose of launching this platform was to take the next step. Every year, as you know, and some of you know who have been here earlier, every year we try and expand the horizon a little bit. And I was just thinking about the acronym of the very name of the Serendipity Exchange for the Arts, C. It is actually so appropriate. If you think about it, 70% of our planet is made up of water, and that is all connected to each other. As are all of you. You're from across the globe right now, and all of you are connected in some manner. And we hope we can use this aspect of our persona, this aspect of our personalities that appeals to each other, that talks to each other, no matter what our language, no matter what our expression, But I think this is something each and every one of us understands, that two people together is always better than one. And two people together can have a conversation. That conversation can be a difficult one, can be a friendly one, can be an easy one. It almost can be what we choose to make it. And since the bridge was mentioned, this is the new initiative that we are launching as a comprehensive arts and culture institution that is being set up as a physical campus in New Delhi. Some of you were here a couple of years ago when we announced the launch of the bridge at Serendipity Arts Festival itself. This will be a somewhat unique institution which will focus on all aspects of every art form on one campus. But we don't want this to be operating only as a campus. We want this to be an instigator of the kind of feelings and emotions I spoke about a little bit earlier. We also want this to be a node amongst many in the world, so that we do help and build those connections. We do hope that each one of you will be a willing and a happy participant in this initiative, because the exchange is nothing but an exchange of ideas, of friendship, as I said, of emotions. And I know that many of you get together at Serendipity Arts Festival are already friends, but many become friends after coming here. And I've heard this from a number of you on earlier occasions and also last evening when we met. The idea of the festival was to make access to quality arts available to as many as possible, to experiment and push the boundaries of the arts, to see how we can fold it into our lives in as many ways as possible, which is why the scope of the festival is across all art forms. And to leave this as a message with all those who come and visit, we tried to make it as experiential as possible, which is why the workshops across all art forms, which is why the conclave and the conferences where academics, intellectuals and researchers do come and have conversations about a whole variety of subjects which matter. We have been lucky and fortunate and truly blessed that right from year one, this took off in right earnest as a large-scale public initiative. The people of Goa have already adopted it as their own festival. And that was one of our objectives too, not to have it as our festival, but to have it as a people's festival. And we know that people here now wait for December to get engaged and to embrace all that is on offer. But we don't only work here for these 8 or 9 days when the festival is on. The work, of course, is going on all year long. We work with over 200 schools here. We work with some of the orphanages. We work with the care homes of the elderly. The idea is to be part of people's lives, including and especially those who are normally excluded. So inclusion and access is another idea and an objective of the festival. Some of you may have seen, because you do get in there early, that before we open the festival, we bring lots and lots of kids from schools, we bring kids from orphanages, we bring transgender communities, we bring elders from care homes, we will bring in those with learning challenges, deaf, mute and blind visitors to be not just part of what we are, but also to get a chance to be part of themselves. So in the morning they get only me time that's available to them. They are of course there and welcome all day, but the morning time is reserved for them. with special curated programs which some of you have helped to design and run for them. So the attempt at Serendipity is also to be all-embracing and all-inclusive, for which I have to say a big thank you to many of you who helped us in these initiatives. This platform, which we are announcing today, is our attempt to reach out beyond Goa, to build this into a global initiative. And as I said, we hope this will become another initiative of the Bridge. Incidentally, the Bridge is the name of the arts and culture institution that is being set up. And it is appropriately named because we are trying to bridge the past and the present while looking at our future. We're trying to bridge different art forms, different cultures, different peoples, different nations. We do hope it can also be a bridge for cultural diplomacy between nations, to try and put a little bit of balm on this very disturbed world that we have around us at this moment. We have actual wars going on, and many of us are walking around as if life is normal. Of course, we try and make it as normal as possible, which we should. But I think those of us who can make an impact and influence beyond ourselves do need to focus a little bit on the disruptive environment, the fractured polity that we have at this moment around the world. 70 elections, major elections are held around the world this year. And the vast majority of them were won by parties which were extreme right or extreme left. Very little room is left in the world today for moderate or centrist thinking. So we do need to think a little bit about what's going on. So we try and do this through our arts initiatives and the arts programs. At the Bridge, we want to create an institution. Actually, it's not one. There are going to be 20 institutions at the Bridge, attempting to embrace and cover all aspects of the entire ecosystem of every art form on one campus. So not only will there be the possibility to experience visual arts and performing arts and culinary arts and performance arts, but in each one there will also be education available, there will be skilling available, there will be experimentation available, there will be research available, there will be innovation available. And we are doing this with a whole host of partnerships. I see some of our partners here in this room already, and I'm hoping by the time we end this session, after Smriti has spoken, that all of you will be partners of the Bridge. May I ask by a show of hands, how many of you heard about the Bridges before this session? Okay, that's clearly not enough. So I don't know if you have a presentation here, Smriti, of the Bridge, explaining to people what this is. Because frankly, it is truly unlike anything else on the planet right now, as is your festival. So again, the idea is it's the same journey. As I said, we like to think a little bit beyond our own resources and our own means at any given time. That's the only way if you're going to move forward constantly. That really is the only way to be. And as I was saying a little bit earlier, this is an attempt to create a global community. I'm talking about this one now, right here. The exchange for the arts is a simple word, but I hope it embraces a lot more than just interaction over the arts. It is, and as most things should be, only about people. That's the other message that we're trying to give through all of our initiatives. As at the end of the day, no matter what you do, no matter what technologies that you use, and we will end up using more and more because technology is becoming a larger and larger part of our lives. Whether we like it or not, whether you enjoy it or not, it is here and it's going to stay here at least for a bit. We are lucky that we live in India right now, amongst the few countries in the world which is likely to see secular growth over the next 25 to 30 years. So we want to take advantage of that as well. The economic growth allows you to do things which you otherwise may or may not do, because there is a cutback on funding toward the arts across many parts of the world. I was in London yesterday and day before yesterday, and I heard this refrain from a number of my friends. I've heard this in the US, I've heard this in Germany, I've heard this in Switzerland, I've heard this in Korea. It is sad, but it is a fact that the priorities of the leaderships across many nations have changed over a period of time. So our hope, wish, and deep desire is that you will be the change makers as you connect with each other on this platform. The Serendipity Exchange, we hope, will become a place. It does not need to be a physical place alone, but a place where you can all connect, stay connected, give us your ideas, give us your suggestions, and more than anything else, give us your criticism. We are looking for ways to improve. We want to know two things from you. One is, what is it that we could be doing better? And second, what is anyone doing that's better than what we are doing, so we can learn from that as well. So we are in a constant learning and a constant growth mode, and creating this neutral platform. And I am calling it neutral because we are not passing judgment. We are just creating a facilitation where all of you, and hopefully many more than the ones gathered in this room, will be able to come together in small groups, in large groups, as 2 individuals and 20 individuals. And please continue to use this platform for doing the good that we hope that all of us will benefit from, and the many more who are not here will also benefit. So thank you all for being here. Thank you all for being part of the Serendipity Arts Festival. Thank you all for being part of it.
गेले काही दीस आम्ही सेरेंडिपिटी आर्ट्स फेस्टिवलाचे खासा ग्लिम्सीस तुमकां आमच्या ह्या कार्यावळींतल्यान दाखयत आयल्या. सो आयज आमी एका खासा व्यक्तीक मेळपाक आयला, जो जावन आसा ह्या सेरेंडिपिटी आर्ट्स फेस्टिवलाचो फावंडर पॅट्रन. ते जावन आसात सुनील कांत मुंजाल. सो तांच्या कडेन उलोवन ह्या फेस्टिवला विशीं, ह्या फाटली आयडिया कितें त्या विशीं अधीक जाणा जावन घेवया. हॅलो सर.
Hello.
वेलकम टू प्रुडंट.
Thank you.
So we are here into 9th edition of Serendipity Arts Festival. So to start with this interview, what was the idea behind this, or what is the vision?
The idea of the Serendipity Arts Festival has been to create access for all people of all backgrounds, all kinds, all interests to high quality arts across all arts disciplines. As you may see, we have visual arts, performing arts, and also culinary arts for all people to enjoy and to participate in. The second idea was to make it experiential. So we have workshops in all art forms, and we also have conclaves and conferences going on with intellectuals, researchers, academics from many parts of the world to come in and talk to the audience about a variety of subjects across culture and arts.
So as I said, we are celebrating 9th edition of Serendipity Arts Festival. So how this year is different from past year?
Well, actually every year the festival has become bigger and it has got better. The number of participants, the kind of participants, both has got better as we've gone along. This year we see a lot of influence of science, technology, including things like artificial intelligence across many of the exhibits across the 22 plus venues that the festival has. Also, it has become a lot more participative. If you go to the art park, people can sit and listen to local musicians from Goa. They can experience handmade products. If you go into GMC where we are now sitting, so there are a whole variety of subjects around which you can get both exposure, experience, and also lessons. There are things just outside for those individuals who are visually challenged or hard of hearing or with mental disabilities. So there are special curated programs for them. So the festival is very inclusive. It tries to make itself available to all people. And of course, there is a lot of things happening in public places, in parks. So you can see in musical instruments, old musical instruments in Azad Maidan. You can see experimental theatre going on in a number of places. So it is a festival which will have something for everybody, no matter what your age, no matter what your interest.
Yeah, just now you spoke about inclusive music, art, and different things. So how this festival has involved Goan local communities?
So we are very grateful to the government of Goa and also the people of Goa. They are the true partners of this festival. The people of Goa have adopted this as their own festival. It has become a people's festival, which is why you see people in tens of thousands streaming in every day at each of the venues. And the overall numbers, of course, coming in are very, very large now. Although the visitors are not only from Goa, there are visitors from other parts of the country and also visitors from many, many other countries in the world. But as far as Goa is concerned, we do a lot of work, not only during the festival, recognizing Goa and Goan culture, Goan cuisine, Goan theatre, Goan crafts, but we also work in the rest of the year. We are working with over 200 of the government schools here and exposing young students, both boys and girls, to a variety of arts and culture. We work with some of the orphanages here. We work with many of the care homes for the elderly. We go in and work with communities which are normally not exposed to these things. So our idea is to make this available and accessible to everybody, but also to recognize and thank Goa and Goans for offering us this hospitality to bring this festival here. This has become one of the larger festivals, certainly in Asia, maybe even in the world. So Goa has become its home. So it's no longer only our festival. It's everyone's festival in Goa.
So from past few years, we are looking at Serendipity Art Festival is growing in different ways. So what are your plans for future?
So one is to continue to grow the festival in its variety of offerings that it does. And it almost has a life of its own, so keeps growing bigger every year. But we're also going to take parts of the festival to other places and other countries. We have already announced a plan to take parts of this festival to Birmingham next year, and then to Birmingham and London the year after that. We are also currently planning to build a permanent establishment in New Delhi, which will house all art forms together at one place, where education, research, practice, innovation, and all of these will go on at one time, including things like reviving many of the crafts of India and South Asia, which are either declining or suffering. We are trying to revive them, and we are trying to contemporize them, make them relevant for today's consumers, so that the artisan and craftswomen and craftsmen can have a viable livelihood, so they can live a life with dignity while carrying on this profession.
So as we all know that this festival is multidisciplinary festival. So why it is essential to foster the multidisciplinary?
The reality of our lives is that life never offers you any situation which has only one dimension. So this is truly a reflection of our lives around us. And also through the festival, many of our curators and artists bring in messages for the visitors, for the communities. And the messages are around things which we think are right now in need of repairing, need of help. So things like kindness, things like friendships, things like relationships, things like social and civic responsibility, like caring for the planet and sustainability. Because the world today is a very difficult, strained place. In many ways, it's fractured, We have skirmishes and wars going on in the world. We have weather conditions which are completely unprecedented, and many of those are happening because of the way we have used and consumed resources of the planet. So there are many of these messages as a part of the festival itself. So we hope that this is a festival which allows people to come in and enjoy, to entertain, but also to learn and take something back with them when they leave from here.
It was pleasure to have you on our show, and all the best wishes for your future plans.
Thank you. Thank you very much. Thank you for having me on the show.
सो हे आशिल्ले सेरेंडिपिटी आर्ट्स फेस्टिवलाचे जे फावंडर पॅट्रन आसा मिस्टर सुनील कांत मुंजाल. ताणें आपले व्ह्यूज ह्या सेरेंडिपिटी आर्ट्स फेस्टिवला विशीं तशेंच फ्युचर प्लॅन्स आमच्या मुखार दवरिल्ले आसा. सो अशेंच खासा व्यक्तीं बरोबर आमी भासाभास करत रावतली. त्या खातीर पळयत रावात प्रुडंट.